So, we do have a significant amount of the American Rescue Plan dedicated for a proposed expansion of Hampden Academy. This discussion really took flight because in 2021, in April, when we came back in all elementary venues, we could not come back full-time here at Hampden Academy. We had to stay in hybrid. And so our building committee, your building committee, started talking about remedies. And just for everyone to know, this idea of a Hampden Academy expansion was planned when the original building was built. The building was built to have the steel beams already in place to do this classroom expansion, expecting that there would be an occasion down the road where this might be needed. So we're going to hear tonight from Principal Tracy about the vision of programming for this expansion of Hampden Academy, but also the need, and I capitalize need for you because we absolutely have programs that don't have space in this building right now. So I'm going to invite Mr. Tracy up to talk about how this expansion will benefit all students from all 4 towns.
Share my screen here. All right, folks, thank you very much for listening to this tonight. I feel like we have a strong plan going forward with some of the pieces that we already have, some of the technology we have that we technically even can't even put into place right now for students to access. So I want to emphasize the neat opportunity we have at Hampden Academy to serve all 4 towns in our district. It's where all of our students converge, and so being able to put some funding towards this to be able to support all of our students' needs across the district is a unique opportunity. So it's no joke, right? We have an amazing building. It's 9 years old. It's phenomenal, state of the art. But we have grown. Our student population has grown. And while it is a beautiful building, it has needs. And we've seen that especially over the last 2 years as we tried to spread out and as we've added different programs to support individual learning. So our mission statement is Hampden Academy challenges all students to achieve individual excellence. We feel that by adding the 3rd floor expansion project, we will be able to address the growing needs of our students, supporting them with their social emotional development, supporting them by linking them in through different programs that they want to be a part of, and providing more programs at HA that entice more students to want to be here and be engaged. So let's talk about the rising enrollment for a second. If you look down at the numbers, we have, let's see, back in 2012, 2013, in 2014, we're right around that 700, low 600, high 600 mark. As you can see, up to 2018, we're at 795. Currently, we have 808 students at Hampden Academy. Just signed 5 more papers today so we get more students next semester. We're always looking. We are right now in the season of recruiting our tuition students. We've been to 3 different schools to talk to them. And we always talk about, you have your option. You can look at all these great schools that have things for you. And ultimately what we want to do is talk about what does Hampden Academy have that might be a good fit for you. And some of these programs tonight are competitive programs in other schools, but they're also things that will help set us apart as a school. So looking at some of our other student needs, our special ed population is certainly growing. We have added classes in areas in the school that have traditionally been kept as meeting spaces. So our admin conference room, some of our meeting spaces down in the drop-in center, some of our spaces up in next to the computer lab, our PAC, our NPR, we're using all that space for as much as we can. But thinking specifically, about special ed, we have a number of programs and they are growing in need. Our life skills and our behavioral program right now are really bursting. We are certainly at our highest number there. And we're looking at a growth of plus 13 students stepping into next year, and we're trying to figure out where those students will go. Again, with that theme of bursting at the seams, we still are offering some of these courses, and these are really to meet individual needs and try to support the learners at the level that they come in at. So we have a foundational math 1 and 2, a consumer math class, a different level expository writing and career communications. So in the hopes that we can catch students early and make those gains that first year so we can push them really strong for the next 3. We also have a student math and writing center. We've had the writing center for a long time, but the student math center is new this year, and again, that's using a space just off the cafeteria this year. But those are programs that are supporting students, and they're run by students as well. And again, as I mentioned, we're using all of these spaces that we've identified just to be able to push people. I've got study halls in the Performing Arts Center. I'm feeding students in the NPR. In the past, we've run some classes in the NPR. We've had district meetings in the NPR and events during there, using that for other things. Our conference rooms and meeting spaces. I'm actually using my student services space behind all the school counselors as our esports lab, which means they cannot access it during the day, but they'll access it at about 3:30, and it fits about half the devices that we have actually purchased, so we can't get to our full expansion of that program. So let's talk about what our opportunities are and what the chances are we have to meet all students' needs. We know that we did a survey with our students a few years ago and talked to them about what they wanted, and one of the big things that came up was a JROTC program. We had 35 plus students that said, I'm interested right now, and I really don't know a ton about JROTC. The beautiful part about this, any student, again, while we're at Hampden Academy, Frankfort, Winterport, Newburgh, Hampden, tuition students can all join this. You don't have to be a 4-year program with JROTC. You can come in and join. When you join, that is your first year cohort. So students can jump in and do that. I don't have a space for that right now. I don't have a classroom space, which they need a classroom space for, and they need some physical training space. We're gonna have to be really creative on where they go. I still think we can try to make it work, but again, trying to utilize and find those extra spaces are gonna be difficult without this program. We're looking at, by adding these 8 classrooms up on the 3rd floor, we're looking to create a STEM floor, that mix between science and math. Really the idea of being able to have an esports lab up there during the day. Again, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but the goal would be to have a true floor of STEM opportunities. Esports, again, like I said, I have that in our Student Services Center right now. Each unit, which is a CPU, a monitor, keyboard, and other things, takes up a minimum of 3 feet. Right now, that space only accesses about 10 or 11 units. Technology right now is only being used by that program and only can be offered after school. This is a challenge for our students who, again, this is at 3:30, so they want to be involved in this at 3:30, and it's about transportation back and forth, which could be difficult. If we're able to offer some of that during the school day, we're able to link more students in and get them engaged at an early time in their career. The other thing I'll say about that is, again, I don't have a space for that, so I need a classroom space to be able to do that. And to be able to access it during the day, it's beyond just the esports. Those computers, those units, are the most powerful thing we have in the school. So it could be really utilized for some more programming, as well as robotics, as well as some of our computer programming classes. Again, something now, if we can do that in a classroom space with this renovation, all of our students at Hampden Academy can access that. We have tons of equipment. I'm embarrassed to say this, but our technology department has done a phenomenal job using the Tibbetts funds, working with the Perloff Foundation. We're utilizing some of the 3D printing opportunities, but I have a bunch of great technology sitting in storage because I don't have a space. We even looked at the black box as a place to try to put some of it, which is kind of a training space. It has no windows. It's not a great space for a classroom, and it's utilized on a rotating basis. I got booted. Yeah, the TV itself just takes off on. Thanks, Jay. Thank you, Nick.
Bill, I can talk now about the physical parks program if you want.
Sure.
That helps.
Last year, you heard me, fuss is probably a good word, about the fact that we have a brand new beautiful high school, excellent air quality. They wouldn't give us credit for that. We couldn't come back because of social distancing. And when we went in to measure classrooms, Nick and Bill and probably Fred measured every single classroom. And the problem here was that with this beautiful new building, we have a lot of built-in furniture. So at the middle school and elementary schools, we can go in and remove wardrobes and extra tables and maximize every inch. And if our high school students can tell you that there's several departments in specific classrooms that have built-in furniture that's not going anywhere. So we made sure in the design of this floor, the whole floor, right, Bill?
Yeah.
Classroom, it is bare bones, stripped down. If we ever had to go through this again, we can fit in as many desks and chairs as possible because these essential classes that everybody has has to take the universal courses are larger classes than these electives. So that was where our hang-up was, I think, last year, a lot of times beyond the eating. And so if that were an issue again, this floor would be the floor to address those larger classes. What am I missing on that?
No, you're absolutely right. I think in just trying to measure that space out, we sat in February vacation trying, with a tape measure, working on our spaces to see whatever we could look at to make work. And again, with those built-ins between the cabinets on the wall, and then the bookshelves over by the window, it just ended up cutting that much more space down. So yeah, we really want to look at that space on the third floor as wide open space. Some of the other stuff, again, I was talking about our maker space, but 3D printing, we have textiles with screen printing, laser printing, graphics, some fashion printing as well. We can't put that anywhere right now without displacing a classroom, and then I have a classroom full of students that I can't put anywhere. We have used some of that technology just to make sure it is something that will work for us. We printed our senior awards last year with it using the wooden plaques and the laser printer. We printed decals with it this year. So it's something that has great opportunity for our students. And again, it could mate with class ideas. It could work for clubs. We could have students that do some design and do some graphic design with it. So a lot of great opportunities there. Something I've talked extensively about with our technology department is the ability to have our high school students act as mentors and leaders with our elementary and middle school students. So to actually be able to pull the students to come up and have an experience in that room and do some designing and have that. So it's, again, building that continuum across the entire district. One of the last things I'd like to mention is the possibility of satellite programming at UTC. UTC, we know, so we have 130 students there right now. They are bursting at the seams as well. We know that they've expanded to EMCC and they have some programs running there. We know that this is a constant problem for them to be able to find space. We've seen this happen in other tech schools, is that they've offered satellite programming at other schools. So we believe this would be a great opportunity. We might have 1 or 2 classrooms to be able to actually create a satellite program at HA for our UTC students. So that would be a really neat opportunity to do that. And again, a seamless fit for our students. I think one of the challenges we have for some of our HA students is that it's not that they're not interested in tech, but what happens is we have students that don't necessarily want to be gone from the school setting. They really enjoy the school setting, so to leave the school for half a day is really difficult. So to be able to have them to go to UTC, to a program that's housed in our school, could be a great selling opportunity. And again, this is very innovative and something that we could look at when the need arises. Finally, I guess dream big a little bit here, thinking about a final piece, but an extended learning opportunity coordinator to be able to manage some of these things, but also really thinking about those internship opportunities. These programs that I've mentioned today are things that are successful in other schools. We know that they'd be successful here with our students. They're things our students have been asking for. But to have someone who could help coordinate this and help talk with students about their goals and build those partnerships out beyond, that would be another thing I'd be excited to offer to our students so that they have those same community partnership experiences and start to think about what they want to do after high school before they actually get there. Any questions?
Yeah, good evening. So with the high school attendance, you said 808 students. What was the original design for Hampden Academy to be able to have for students?
So that's a great question. 9 years ago, so as I look back at this, if I jump back to 2012, we're at about 707 students. 2011, 743. So I don't know exactly what year, whether they worked on a projected number or whether they worked on I'm seeing Rob shake his head at a projected number.
It was either 800 or 850, and I can't remember if that included the third floor classrooms or not.
So it's safe to say that we really are busting at the seams when you look at the student attendance.
Okay, thank you very much.